Hold on. Connor is yelling at me because my mic is touching a lot of stuff, but then he told me I had a cozy sweater, so I should keep it on. So now I'm confused, but I'm not confused about this. We have a heck of a show today. Hall of Famer on the program. Cowboys legend. Hello, Bueller? Anyone? DeMarcus Ware is on the program, and we have the latest on Aaron Rodgers and the Jet saga with Brian Costello of the New York Post. Very excited about that. Is Al Lazard going to New York now? What's going on? I'm changing. So they built this studio in my house. First of all, they gave me a swivel chair. These idiots gave me a swivel chair, and they didn't even notice it. And I can't. I'm not a good A2, A1, A2. I don't know what to do. Should I hold it like an influencer on TikTok? No, we're not going to do that. Okay, but we have lots to talk about. My goodness, I went to the Oscars on Sunday, so I didn't sleep that entire night. And yesterday, I'm thinking, well, surely this news will happen. I'll chew on it and go to sleep. And then I'm napping through the day. I'm doing meetings. I'm doing things. How does this deal not get done? We are still waiting for it to be official. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be done by now, right? This free agent negotiating window opens. It opened with a bang yesterday. Now we're less than 24 hours in, and over 90 players have signed deals already. Hundreds of millions of dollars dished out here. So I wanted to take a look at some of the bigger contracts so far. Sean Payton, hello, Coach Payton. He's put an emphasis on rebuilding the Broncos O-line with former Niners tackle Mike McGlinchey as the cornerstone. I like it. He doesn't have a lot of room or money to play with out there with that Russell Wilson contract looming over his head. By the way, Sierra at the Vanity Fair party, geez Louise. Okay, the Niners stunned everyone by handing out big money to Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. The D-line is going to be completely unblockable. The Chiefs may be losing tackle Orlando Brown. They scoop up Jags tackle Jawan Taylor to fill that void. And the Bills land the Bears add former Bill Tremaine Edmonds, which we love to see. Okay, Ryan Poles, we're going to get to him in a second. Josh McDaniels reunites with Jimmy Garoppolo in Vegas with the league's leading rusher, franchise tagged. We love that little Josh Jacobs situation with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he will make things happen, though it might not matter, of course, in that division. And former Bengals All-Pro safety Jesse Bates. He's leaving. He's heading to Atlanta after playing last year on the franchise tag, shamefully in my opinion, in Cincinnati. And there's still a lot of talent up there. If you take a look here, you want a player, you got him pretty much at any position with some star names, some certified, experienced vets here. Baker Mayfield, he's been linked to Tampa. No movement there yet. I'll get into this more in a bit. There's very little movement at the wide receiver spot. Odell, Juju, and more still waiting. Former All-Pro bowlers like Dalton Schultz, Frank Clark, Levante David, and Bobby Wagner, they're still out there as well. But even with all that action yesterday, the biggest story, of course, is the lack of a approval decision. Sources say, double-sourced tweets going out about Aaron Rodgers and these Jets. The Jets and Packers have yet to add any new players as they wait, giving the impact that a trade would have on both of their salary cap situations. And with every passing minute, more and more players continue to come off the board. So at this point, it's completely Rodgers or bust for the Jets as quarterbacks have flown off the market. Derek Carr, of course, that happened before. That was a few weeks ago. First domino to fall situation. But over the past 24 hours, we've seen a lot of the other options that have been linked to New York as a plan B fly off the market. Jimmy G, Taylor Heineke, Sam Darnold, and even a return from Mike White, which is crazy. That's not even on the table for them anymore. He inks a deal with the Dolphins for 2 years, $16 million. When these deals are flying off the, and there's quarterbacks available, as you see. When these quarterbacks were getting signed left and right, and one after the other, it sort of made it clear to me the deal is done in New York. Like, the Jets would never do this. We had Thomas Dimitroff gave us his time yesterday, a 12-year former GM for the Falcons. You have a list of backup plans, different things you can go to if this one doesn't work out, if that one doesn't work out. There's no way the Jets are letting all of these quarterbacks slide and go off the table and do all of that if they don't know that they have Aaron Rodgers. Can you trust that you have a deal done if you don't have a deal actually done, though, with Aaron is a question, because he's got he's a different character. He's got a little runaway bride vibe going on sometimes. So I would want him inking the deal before we know what's going on. And yeah, you looked at that list of guys, and sure, one of them could totally do the second act Ryan Tannehill sort of thing and revitalize their career in New York. But I don't think any of that is going to satisfy what has been a fervor for this Jets fan base, fantasizing, drooling, and agonizing over whether or not they're getting Aaron Rodgers for an entire week. But for the Packers, as I said earlier, they've been in this holding pattern. They haven't been able to make any improvements to their squad either, because I'm sure even if they think he's going there, you don't really know. With him, you never know until you know. So what's next? I do think there's probably some crazy panic setting in on both sides, both fan bases, both front offices, and it's warranted given how unpredicted Aaron can be. But I believe this happens. Officially, I imagine it's all but official. Maybe he says, go get me a wide receiver, make me feel loved, wine and dine me, send me the caviar, the roses, whatever. And that's why they're talking about this Lazard deal. So I think we see Rodgers wearing the green, which is so crazy to think about, sooner than later. And you had the Garrett Wilson thing. He's on vacation tweeting like he knows something. So it seems like it's done, but not announced. And everything's building towards that with these reports that we're seeing. And we'll talk to Brian Costello of the New York Post about Alan Lazard, him potentially doing a deal there. So I know that there's probably some anxiety in that building, in the homes of these people who love the Packers, my nephews, some of them, but hang in there, Jets and Packers fans. So that's enough for things that don't happen and haven't happened. How about moves that did? A couple of teams have stood out to me so far. And I sat here Friday, and actually sat in my living room where I just saw two ducks fornicating and making sweet love in my pool this morning. And that is the most LA statement. Conrad, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I never had ducks. And this morning, two ducks, a male duck and a woman duck, they were both so attractive. It was like I was at the Vanity Fair party again. And they're so attractive. And I'm getting my hair and makeup figured out, and they're in there, you know, and then they bathed together. It was a steamy scene, and then they did the deed. And I go, this doesn't seem like I should be watching, but also get the F out of my pool. Conrad. He's not saying anything. He's just laughing. Okay. Conrad left a pack of batteries at my door yesterday. That's all you need to know about Conrad and I's husband and wife relationship. Okay. I want to start with the Bears here. I sat on Friday and said, get this done before the weekend, make a trade, and so you can start spending this money crazily on Monday like a madman. And they did. I begged Ryan Poles, make the most of this brilliant cap situation that Chicago is in. Be aggressive so you can contend while you still have Justin Fields in this rookie contract window. And he really listened and struck so big so far. If you're looking here, he lands DJ Moore. That was in the trade with the Panthers. Panthers have number one. They might trade down. We'll see with this quarterback draft class. But he reshapes the linebacking core. He lands Tremaine Edmonds from the Bills. We love him. We love his mom. We love his brothers. We love the whole story. And Eagles leading tackler TJ Edwards, friend of the show, an all-pro player for that team, who's incredible and who I love. And I believe is a Wisconsin boy. We'll have to talk about that. He is a Badger. I knew that. Okay, they've also started the process of rebuilding the offensive line. This is music to any Bears fans' ears. They grabbed Nate Davis from the Titans, and for the people trying to knock or criticize or tear down the front office by saying, oh, you wouldn't play Roquan, but you're going to pay that money to Tremaine Edmonds, what was the point? Are we forgetting Roquan requested a trade because he did not want to be part of a rebuild? I'm seeing a lot of that on Twitter, so I figured I'd address it. I think getting two excellent linebackers for essentially the same price as Roquan is about as good as you can hope for having to replace an all-pro caliber player like that. Like, that's not bad business for the Bears at all. And let's remember, Roquan wanted to leave. And I don't think the Bears are even close to being done yet. They've got money to spend. They've got the most cap space in the league. They still have, I did the math this morning while I was watching the Ducks out of my yard. They have over $50 million available. I think we're going to see at least one more big swing. So, the O-line protecting Fields, that's the issue. Orlando Brown, still the top tackle in this class. He's still out there. I'm calling my shot. Ryan Poles, you listened to me on Friday. Ryan Poles, make it happen with Brown. He was the executive director of player personnel in Kansas City when the Chiefs made that trade with the Ravens to get Orlando Brown. There's connective tissue. There's history there. And while the Bears have really jumped out with what they've added so far. The Eagles have been on the other end of the spectrum. They got some positive news. They were taking shots. They really literally copied off of Up and Adams and were like, let's drink on the air. This sounds like this video can totally be done in this announcement without alcohol, but we're going to just put it there for no reason and have fun with that. That's a page out of our book, and we love it. Jason Kelce comes back, and other than that, they've been getting hit kind of hard. They lose, and we all saw this coming, and why we were so excited for the Super Bowl. 3 key defensive starters yesterday. They lose Javon Hargrave, PFF's top-rated interior pass rusher. He goes to the Niners, as I said. Marcus Epps, who played more snaps than any single player on the entire Eagles defense. He's on his way to Vegas, and as we just said, TJ Edwards is on his way to the Bears. So as you can see, there are a ton of starters from last year's NFC Championship squad still on the market as well. The Eagles have $6 million, just $6 million in cap space available, and that's not including whatever extensions that they have to work out with Jalen Hurts. We also can't forget they lost both coordinators to head coaching gigs, and it sounds like Darius Slay's on his way out the door as well. So it all sort of, and I'm looking at the list here, Bradbury, it all sort of underscores why cashing in last year was so critical for this team, and I pointed that out, and I hope Marissa has her earmuffs on her ears, because I said in Howie Roseman I trust, and I do, but Marissa's crying? Howie Roseman needs to try to retool this thing on the fly now. So the good news is that the Eagles have a ton, I'm trying not to mess up with my mic. The news is the Eagles have a ton of talent on the roster. I don't know, they're in like a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers list NFC, and they have a ton of draft picks to add young talent, including 2 first-round picks this year. So it's been painful, I'm sure, as an Eagles fan to watch this. The roster might not be what it was last year, top to bottom, but I would be shocked if they're still not firmly in the conversation, and I can't wait to see what they do with those draft picks come end of April, Kansas City, where I might be, which I'm excited about. Stay tuned. What else do I want to talk about here? I think... my last observation from this first 24 hours of free agency, which is my favorite, it's literally my favorite time of the year. I love when this happens and all hell breaks loose. It's something that I had my eyes on, and even on Good Morning Football in the past couple of years, I would talk about what's going on with the money and the supply demand and I sucked at microecon and copied off the guy next to me who was named Max Scherzer, fun fact. And I got through that class somehow, but I know the basic tenets of economics and what's going on at the wide receiver position. There are a lot of accomplished receivers in this free agent class, okay? So far, Jacoby Myers has agreed to a modest deal, so we took him off this list. He was on it before the show started. 3-year deal with the Raiders, and Lazard is reportedly close to talks and doing things with the Jets. So we're hearing there's, a rumbling. Anybody I have talked to, and you're seeing it on Twitter a little bit, they're not close with the money. The receivers think that they're the best. They want to be paid receiver money, the top receiver money, and all of that. And there's a big gap between the expectation of that and what is being offered to them. And I'm not surprised at all, because last year, I said it, we saw Tyreek, we saw Amari Cooper, we saw Devontae Adams, we saw A.J. Brown, we saw them get dealt away. I think the way the receiver position is valued is beginning to shift in a not great for wide receiver situation direction. It basically comes down to supply and demand. We're seeing more polished, more talented receivers enter the draft every single year, more than ever before. And last year we saw it with the Wilsons, we saw it with the Olaves. Think about it. You used to never see rookie wide receivers hit the 1,000-yard mark, ever. I think Keenan Allen did it, and then it was like an anomaly. Oh my God, Keenan Allen, now you see it happen every year. Look at the last 3 or 4 drafts, if we take a look here. I mentioned Wilson and Olave, Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle before that, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins in 2020. All of this young talent isn't a coincidence, right? It's a trend given the way the game's evolved, given the way the college game prepares you for said game. So it's not a knock on any of these veteran wide receivers for what they've done. And so it's not a knock that they're not getting these big deals. I think the teams and the GMs and the smart people of the world, they're starting to realize that there's an influx of cheaper young talent through the draft, and it's working, and it's going to continue. Why break the bank for a vet is what they're thinking. Not me, I want everybody to get paid. I'm Nate Burleson on this. Everybody make their money. But why do that? Why break the bank for a veteran when you can get a similarly talented, better value young wide receiver for the fraction of a price? I'm not saying receivers are going, fully in the way of the downtrodden, don't raise your sons to be running back situations, but I think this market is going to continue to shift, at least for the team staying ahead of the trend. Just something to keep an eye on going forward. All right, we have a special guest on the show right now who I believe I can finally say is a Hall of Famer. Please welcome, we'll give a little intro music video for our guy.
One of the best, DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, I play hard.
Gobbled up by DeMarcus Ware.
You can't guard me. You can't block me.
Hit it, sack.
Wow, DeMarcus Ware is gone.
I'm a saver too, tiger running loose. What's up? Unstoppable.
One of the best pass rushers in all of NFL history. DeMarcus, I have not talked to you in so long.
Listen, you've been on vacation. You have not wanted to talk to nobody in your background. And we are going to get this talk on for sure.
I'm back. Only you could wear a tank top and in a morning interview, because you work out, you take care of yourself, you're doing motivational speaking, you're coaching, you're into making the world a better place. But that's all beyond what you did and continue to do involved in football. 4-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 138.5 sacks. That's 9th all-time. And you were recently named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame 2023 class. How does that feel?
It's been a whirlwind, and when people say that you're on cloud 9, I'm on cloud 9 for 5 months because I got a plan. They got parades. We're going to tour the venue this week, also tour the venue for your party. So it's a lot of planning that goes into this, really 5 months of preparation for 3 days of celebration. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm still pinching myself right now, just thinking I'm in a dream, but eventually I'm going to have to wake up and put that jacket on.
Did you think about the Hall of Fame while you were playing? Was it something tangible that you thought about? Was it surprising to you? Was it your dream?
When you play, you think about being a team captain. You think about being the best in the league at what you do, but you don't think about making the Hall of Fame. It's unfathomable, right? It's 0.8% of players make the Hall of Fame. And so you look at what can I do now with the time that I have, and then once you retire, you think about it. And my resume, stood the test of time of consistency, and this year making the 2023 class with these other amazing players, it's just been great.
Jerry Jones, I know, was involved in letting you know that you're in the Hall of Fame. What was that like?
I walked into his office. I thought I was actually going to, do a family portrait deal for the NFL, right? And so Jerry was like, hey, can you come by and see me? So I knocked on the door and I saw Jerry with his yellow jacket, with the gold jacket on. And I said, what's going on here? And he said, welcome to the 2023 class, Hall of Fame class. And I didn't know what he was saying. And he said, congratulations. And I saw, 4 or 5 cameras, and I saw the bus behind him, and it hit me. I'm like, holy cow. Is this it? Like, really, I got chills right now just from that moment. And I couldn't even talk. It's like my whole soul just left me for a while, and I came back, and it still feels that way to this day when I talk about it.
Well, congratulations. It is so well-deserved, and what you do off the field, on the field. And I know since retirement, I can't believe that you retired already after 2016. I can't believe that you're even Hall of Fame eligible. It just seems like you were just winning Super Bowls for 2 different squads back on the field not long ago. What has taken up the most of your time? I'd like to hear a little bit about the motivational speaking that you like to do and improving people, but also you play golf all of the time. DeMarc, no, I don't see or hear about anybody playing golf more than you.
You know what? Golf has been taking up my time. I hunt and fish, and I'm being daddy of the year, right? I think that's the most important thing when you transition from the NFL is what is your new team? And my family's been my new team, and I've had an opportunity to, do appearances, motivational speak, I mean, shoot commercials, you name it. It's like I'm the utilitarian of the retired guy. And I think you just try to find your niche in what you do. And so for me, if I can get out and touch the people and whatever that I'm doing, it's natural, it's fun. And that's what I've been doing, since I retired.
Who is in that photo? Can I see that photo? Is that Emmitt Smith? Who else is in that photo?
Yeah, that was Emmitt Smith.
Are you better than Anthony Anderson? Is that Larry the Cable Guy?
That's Larry the Cable Guy.
That's Larry the Cable Guy. What is this?
Play golf all the time. All four of us play golf all the time. Every tournament, we're in the tournaments.
That needs to be a reality show, you and those guys. All right, let's move on. Oh, by the way, you had a band that somebody told me to ask you about this band, because maybe that's something that you can bring back. Mirage, your R&B band from high school. I feel like this could be a part of your post-career legacy, huh?
I don't know if it's part of my post-career legacy, but I know it's part of that high school band boy / I got to actually, when I won the Super Bowl, we got the band back together, and that's actually right in front of the Broncos Stadium, and we sung a couple of our songs. And it's so cool to just get the guys back together, right? And my voice is not what it used to be, but I still can carry a tune from time to time, and I know the boys will be there.
Okay, hit us with a bar. Hit us with something, DeMarcus. Let's hear it. I need to hear it.
Oh, my God.
DeMarcus.
Let me see here. I don't know how much longer you're gonna be here. I'll just stay there.
What? I was not ready for that. That's really amazing. Gosh, it is so annoying that you're good at everything and you're such a nice guy. Like, it's so frustrating as a person that you're this, you're perfect.
Just camouflage yourself in whatever that you do and just enjoy doing it, right?
I love it. All right, we got a couple minutes with you here, so let's move on to what's going on in this NFL. We're currently in the midst of this madness of free agency. You played 9 seasons with the Cowboys. You were the franchise leader in sacks. When you look at the current Dallas roster, what are the missing pieces they need to add and focus on?
From a defensive standpoint, I think that they need a guy like a TJ Ward, like a strong safety that can come in and play in the box, a guy that can roam free and be that hitter on defense. Offensively, I'm worried about the tight end situation. I know that they've gotten rid of, a couple guys at the tight end position, but they need a Jason Witten back. They have the outer core with CeeDee Lamb and, a couple of other guys, but they need that tight end that can really stretch the field with those linebackers to sort of help the run game. Because I know you got Zeke, you got Pollard coming back. They just got franchised. But you have to get those linebackers now that in the 10 and 15-yard range where they got to now worry about coverage. And that's when the run game opens up.
Well, they tagged Tony Pollard. I'm curious if you think that's a good idea. And you're mentioning the tight end and opening up the run game. Do they need another top wide receiver? Because we're hearing Odell, he's always connected to Jerry Jones and those Cowboys. DeAndre Hopkins, Des Bryant, they were working out together in Dallas. What do you think they should add?
Like I said, I think they should add that tight end, a tight end that can actually block, right? They haven't had a blocking tight end in a long time, but just like you said, tight end that can actually stretch the field too, not just block. And it's like that utilitarian guy. He can play fullback. You can put him on the line. He can block. And when it comes to passing situations, he can flank out and get a linebacker out of the box and then stretch the field. If you can get that type of guy, I don't think they need a wide receiver. They have enough wide receivers. They got, get them the ball, but they need that tight end. I keep saying that they need it. They need it really bad.
That's a really good point by you. And then on defense, Micah Parsons, an insane start to his career. He's so young. He's done so much already. He destroys every game and every line ever. What can you point to when you watch him to why he's been successful out the gate with the Cowboys? And have you talked to him at all? Have you given them any advice?
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I think when you see DeMarcus Lawrence and him working on the same page, you got 2 guys coming from the outside, squeezing the pocket. And the interior guys, they're getting a lot of push. And Micah, when I saw him at the Pro Bowl, he was like, man, I'm ready to rush. I'm ready to really get back after it again. But Again, what's missing is that one extra person, somebody that can come from behind, that strong safety that can now blitz in the inside, that's going to take that running back away from him because he gets chipped so much. You see him do so well at the beginning of the season, but then later on in the season, yeah, they're going to double Micah. Now DeMarcus Lawrence has to do his job, but that extra guy that's now going to blitz up the middle, even if it's a linebacker, now you got two guys that are open, and you got to worry about both of them.
It's a really great point. I mean, he's got comparisons to Von Miller, who you played with, of course. You know, I wanted to ask you about the Broncos and Sean Payton and all of that, but let's end it here. You explored free agency. There's these guys out there that have been playing with teams for a long time. I'm looking at even like a Levante David. I keep wondering what he's going to do because he spent his whole life in Tampa. Blood, sweat, tears, all of his aches and pains for that organization. So it was after 2014 that you became a free agent. What was that experience like? What were you looking for, and why did you ultimately choose to sign with the Broncos?
First, I was looking for, am I going to actually still be able to stay with this team? I was with this team forever, and I didn't want to leave, but there's situations just like with me, you have to leave because of salary cap issues. Jerry Jones couldn't pay me at the time, but he gave me an opportunity to test the market. And I said, I want to go to a place where I'm going to win. I didn't worry about getting double teamed. I didn't worry about if I'm going to be effective or not. I worried about if I'm going to win football games because of the quarterback that I was going to play with. And so I chose Denver. And when you get a call from Peyton and say, hey, you know what, I'm scoring 35 points a game. I'm going to make sure that you're fresh. And this is from Peyton. And I'm going to let you rush the passer. You're going to have ample amount of opportunities to do that. So it's like, why not? And there's a Super Bowl happened, Super Bowl 50. And it was just really cool to be part of that.
And it helped you become a Hall of Famer. DeMarcus Ware, can't love you more. Love that smile. Everything that you do. Go. I'm sure you got a golf game to get to or some crazy workout that I'll see on Instagram and feel bad about myself. But thank you for the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
And thank you for inviting me on the show.
And go get a tight end, Jerry Jones. What are you thinking? Hall of Famer, come on, you're a Hall of Famer, he's a Hall of Famer. You have to listen to each other. What's going on? We've got Brian Costello from the New York Post to talk. Rodgers, is he a Jet yet? Back on Up and Adams with the Jets closing in on a deal for wide receiver Alan Lazard. Shefty says another wide receiver expected to be on the radar in the coming days of free agency is Packers veteran Randall Cobb. You're just bringing everybody? Can I come to the Jets? Conrad says this is a funny video. Oh, wow. Jets fans checking Twitter to see if there's any Rodgers updates. Very cute. Very true. Very sad. Very sad. Keep faith, Jets fans, and stay patient. Listen, we need the New York vibe check. I will be there all week next year figuring this out and trying to work my way onto this Jets staff in some capacity where I'm overpaid past my prime to be working on that team. Because that's what's going on here around this team, and I'm just saying that. This is our guy. He's going to fill us in on what the heck's going on in the Jets building out at Florham Park. As we sit here in Aaron Rodgers limbo, Brian Costello covering everything for the New York Post. Good morning.
Hey, have you ever worked with Aaron Rodgers? Because that could help you get a job with the Jets right now.
Listen, I've interviewed him enough, and I've been on like a golf cart with him, and I talk about him a lot. So I just feel like I might be in the inner circle.
Yeah, I think that counts. I think you can go to Joe Douglas and ask for a contract right now, and you might get it. Because it seems like they're going to do everything they possibly can to make Aaron happy right now.
It's what he wants, right? He didn't feel the love. And it's not for 1 year. It's not for one, draft cycle. It's for 3 years now. He hasn't been feeling the love from the Packers. He's not going back there. We know that. The deal is all but done. You had a hilarious tweet that I want to show everybody that you asking, Aaron, can you ask for cheese curds in the media room? Thanks, cause.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard. It's pretty clear Aaron's driving the bus right now, so maybe he can help those of us out in the media room, get us a snack from Green Bay. That'd be great. But it's just the waiting game right now, Kay. It's pretty crazy that we're here on it's Tuesday morning now. I thought this would be done last week, and we're still waiting.
I wonder if he's going to institute that every media member that comes into the room has to be saged little Palo Santo saging before you enter. Maybe he's going to have an on-hand astrologer to read your signs and make sure you guys are bringing the right energy into said media room. Like, I would not put it past him, because they certainly are trying to make the four-time MVP comfortable. How's that going over with the NFL media and Jets fans?
Jets fans are losing their minds right now. They are very scared that this is not going to happen. I mean, all indications I've gotten is the Jets still feel good about this. It's still going to happen, but everyone's on Aaron Rodgers' timetable, and Jets fans are not handling that very well, especially as they saw, Derek Carr go last week, Jimmy Garoppolo go yesterday. The options are dwindling if this falls through, but I think you still have to have faith if you're a Jets fan that this will happen, because it doesn't feel like there's any chance he can go back to the Packers at this point. And if he was going to retire, why wouldn't he have done it all right now? He's going to do it at the last minute. So I think, something's holding this up, whether it's just him wanting to announce this his way or whether they're haggling over some details with the contract. But I do think this is going to happen soon, Kay.
Any ideas on what could be holding up? I know you gave a little bit of a vague answer, because he's not retiring. He's not going back. He's going to the Jets. So what's standing in the way?
It's not an easy trade, right? This is not simple. First of all, his contract is very complicated. He's getting paid $59 million in 2023. Now, the way that works is you can convert that into a bonus by September, and that bonus then lowers the cap number to $15 million. But when they do make the trade, they have to have $60 million in cap space to make it. So they kind of have to have that done, unless he reworks his deal, which you'd think the Jets would want. The Packers probably also want, because it leaves them with a whole lot of dead money. So there's a lot of contract machinations that have to happen here. And no one's really talking, Kay, because I don't think anyone really wants to piss off Aaron Rodgers. So the Jets aren't saying anything. The Packers aren't saying anything. So that's why you're not seeing a lot of leaks about what's happening, because everyone's scared of him. And basically, he went on his rant a few weeks ago that no one knows what he's doing of the insiders. It's only his inner circle. So I think the Packers know him well, and the Jets are getting to know him, and they don't want to irritate him by leaking anything out. And then Jets and Packers have to agree to the compensation here. And it's not that simple. He's 39 years old. Is he going to play a year? Is he going to play 2? I'm going to guess there's going to be a conditional pick in this deal in 2024. What are the conditions on that deal, on that pick? Is it, going to the Super Bowl makes it a first-round pick? Is it going to the playoffs makes it a second-round pick? They have to work all of that out. So there are a lot of things behind the scenes, but I think the Jets and Packers have been working on this for a while. It feels like we're all just now waiting for him to say go, and they'll be able to solve this pretty quickly after that.
I think Joe Douglas is mulling over the pages and pages of psychedelics research that Aaron Rodgers wants to implement in the daily training regimen of the entire 53-man squad. And that takes a while to read and get through and understand, because it's so, highfalutin and highbrow from Mr. Aaron Rodgers. It's so funny. You're like, his contract is so complicated. Aaron Rodgers? Complicated? What are you talking about? Let's talk. Here's my question to you personally, covering this team. I just love that you get this gift. It's such an Easter basket for you. It's incredible. How excited are you? Are you scared of Aaron Rodgers, as the Jets seem to be? And how proud are you of this team for taking this swing?
Well, I'm not scared of Aaron Rodgers. It'll be fine. We'll figure out a way to coexist, the media and Aaron Rodgers. I'm excited, Kay, for if this happens for the season. It's been a lot of bad football in the last 10 years and a lot of bad quarterback play, and it'll be very fun to cover a really good quarterback. Even though he's 39 years old, he's probably declining. He's still going to be better than anything we've seen in a long time. The Brett Favre year was a fun year with the Jets until the end, until it came off the rails. But this has generated a lot of excitement, and that's good for me. That's good for my job. And I think I'm not proud of the Jets because I'm not, I just cover the Jets, but I do think it's, good for them for going for it. There's been a lot of years with this team where they've just sort of kind of middled it and put a plug in, a veteran that was kind of a journeyman in there. They've taken some big swings with draft picks, obviously, but they haven't done this in a long time. So I do give them credit for going for it.
I'll say this. I once, in my earliest memory, one of my earliest memories of being in the presence of Aaron Rodgers, watched a reporter tell him his statistics from the first half of a game and then the second half of a game to show how much he improved. But the second he heard the reporter tell him the not great first half statistics, Aaron's face, it was over. The interview. So I just as a friend, I would not tell Aaron Rodgers that he's declining. We're not gonna post that shit. We're not even gonna put that. This is not going. That little part, I'm not even putting it on the internet because I don't want him to see it. I like you, Cause, and I want you to get your cheese curds in the media room. Let's have fun with this though. Who else could he potentially want to bring in with him? I mean, is AJ Hawk? Is he on the table? Does he want McAfee in the booth for his games? Like his, I hope
special teams coordinator.
Chris Collinsworth might have to move over.
Yeah. I mean,
there
special teams corner. I mean, who knows? I'm sure there's some guru from the darkness retreat that he wants on staff, but he better bring some offensive linemen with him, though, Kay. That's what I'm waiting to hear. The Jets need some help on the offensive line. It'd be good if he brought a few of them with him. So I'm not sure if he's got any of those up his sleeve, but he does need to do that. But right now, I joked on Twitter, I'm waiting for Don Hudson. I'm waiting for the report that they're interested in Don Hudson right now. It's every Packers receiver that's ever gone through Green Bay seems to be on the table right now.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson's like, what? What's going on? I know that you're checking your phone.
I just had to check my phone. My phone was busy. Yes. Yeah, but nothing happened.
I know you got. Once it happens, you're going to spring into action here. I know the headlines are written and drafted and ready to go out. It'll be some, and there's a lot of talk about Rodgers and handling the New York media. I think it's an incentive for him. I think it's in the pro column for him to go there. I think he enjoys being the topic. I think he won't back down. I think you guys are going to have your hands full.
I agree. I think he'll enjoy it. I think from what I've seen from afar, he enjoys the back and forth. And look, we're not, New York media gets this reputation. We're not that bad. I've had, Brandon Marshall was very nervous when he came to New York. And then after a year, he was like, oh, you guys aren't that bad. And he came to like us. So it's in the way it is now, 2K, what I tell people is if you throw 4 interceptions in Kansas City or in Jacksonville or, in Houston, it's the same as New York. You're going to get beat up. The only difference in New York are the back pages and the page 6 element. And I'm not sure how he'll react to that part. His personal life, which already has been pretty public. There's a back page right there for you. It's a little different than the other places, but his personal, he's dated some high profile women and he's been in the media before. Sometimes that jars guys. And I've had many conversations about page 6 with players. So we'll see how he reacts to that. But the football aspect of it, to me, I think is the same everywhere you go.
Well, if you don't think you're scary now, wait till you have the required sound baths that he makes you guys take for meditative purposes. He's going to make you guys all journal before you guys come in there. It's going to change the landscape of the New York sports media scene. And, there's a lot of actresses, heiresses running around New York, models. So those back pages are going to love Aaron Rodgers. Let's talk a little bit about Mike White while I have you here, because I don't know where that question is. But, Mike White inks this deal down to a division rival down there in Miami. He took over. He was the leader of this locker room. What happens with Zach Wilson? Where's Joe Flacco in this picture?
I think Joe Flacco's out. He'll go somewhere else. Zach Wilson's going to be here. And they really are stuck with Zach Wilson right now. No one's trading for Zach Wilson. It doesn't make sense for them to cut him right now. So I think he'll be here. I think they're hoping a year on the bench or 2 on the bench could rehab him and make him better. I don't see a future for him with the Jets. His childhood idol was Aaron Rodgers, so that could help matters here. They do have a relationship. I'm sure the Jets are hopeful that Aaron will kind of take him under his wing and help him out. But right now, he'll be on the roster. I don't think if the Jets do not want him to play during the regular season, you'll see a lot of him in the preseason because I'm sure Aaron Rodgers won't be playing preseason games. But for Zach Wilson, I think he's going to be like Han Solo. He's going to be on ice for a while here, Kay. He's going to be frozen in carbonite and just sitting there waiting, and maybe he gets another chance at some point. It's hard for me to envision it with the Jets, though.
Okay, I got a cause. You just killed what Aaron Rodgers is going to love. Here's what you should be doing while you're waiting for this news to break, because I don't think you're panicked that it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to ask you about backup options at quarterback, blah, blah, blah. You need to go watch John Wick. You need to watch Big Lebowski 6 times in a row. So you have every Big Lebowski dude, every reference down that you can throw. That Star Wars reference there, that I Love You, I Know, little Leia Han Solo, that'll go a long way with Aaron Rodgers. You just got The Office. You got to get, this is the way into his heart.
All right.
This and
That's
some
a good
mushrooms.
Tip.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
I'll tell you where you can get some good mushrooms in New York. I'm there next week. All right, Brian Costello, I'm glad I can make you laugh as we have fun with what is an incredible situation with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers hopefully coming to terms finally as we have rumors about Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb as well. Brian, I appreciate the time. I know it's a crazy time.
No problem, Kay. Thanks for having me. Always great talking to you.
And I'll hit you up about those shrooms. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. We'll be back after this on Up and Adams.
I want to be the best ever, the best quarterback ever, the best person ever, just the best overall. And I'm willing to do anything it takes to be that and achieve that. So that's why any team that wants me should get me.
It's time now for One Thing About Him Is, where I introduce you to some of the most intriguing prospects in the 2023 NFL Draft. Ooh, and here we go. Today I'm talking about that guy, Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson. Why is he intriguing? Because I always look at the draft class and I say, where's the most polarizing guy? Where's the blue cheese? Where's the crypto? People either love it or they hate it. Circle that guy and let's size him up because he is about the most polarizing cat I have ever seen. He's got incredible, tantalizing, tempting upside, and he has some analysts calling for him to be the #1 overall pick. But there's, of course, questions about his mechanics, about his accuracy, and others say he shouldn't even be going till day 2 or 3. Like, not until the mascots are making the pick should this guy go off the board. It's completely all over the map. And while the debate's going to continue over the next month, the only thing about Anthony Richardson is that his confidence isn't going to waver. That's the only thing that's not going to change. Listen to him when he's asked about who he modeled his game after growing up.
Growing up, it was always Cam Newton for me. But then when I got to high school, just seeing how dynamic Lamar was, I tried to implement both of those guys in my life. And I started calling myself Cam Jackson in 11th grade, just trying to make big plays, so just Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson.
Do you know what it takes to have the guts to call yourself Cam Jackson as a junior in high school like he did? Anthony Richardson, he's got go to the Vanity Fair Oscar party confidence. Shows up and runs the room with the world's most influential and beautiful people confidence. That is who he is. And he's done that for years now. So far, Richardson's done his best to look like a combo of Cam and Jackson. This combine performance, we all saw it, we watched. It was Cam-like. It was 6'4", it was 244 pounds. What else do you need? He showed Lamar-level explosiveness. He set quarterback records. It was a 4.43 40, and he had a 40.5-inch vert. 10-foot 9-inch broad jump. I don't really know what that tells you, but that's not for me to decide and talk about. I leave that to Daniel Jeremiah and company. But he also was unleashing bombs, 60-yard throws, a barrage of them, and we hear that he crushed the interviews. Now, I don't want to just dismiss these questions that are valid, and people have them about the game. We've talked now to Yogi Roth, who sizes up these quarterbacks better than anyone. We've talked to Chris Collinsworth about Anthony Richardson, a la his alma mater. And people have questions about his game. Those are valid. But if I'm going after a quarterback in this draft, if I'm one of these quarterback needy teams and there's not like one great guy overall and everybody's talking about even the Panthers after making the trade with the Bears to trade down because there's not one that's that much better, I'm swinging for the fences. And I know that's easy to say, and I'm not the one making these decisions, but I don't know if there's ever been a prospect with more physical upside than Anthony Richardson. Give me Cam Jackson in this. Hamilton, get in here. I usually not like this because I like this, give me the safe thing, but he's just different. Why not swing for the high potential?
I'm with you, especially if you're a team that has a veteran guy in the room and you don't have to play him right away, when you can work on him a little bit, develop him. The ceiling is as high, I think, as any prospect that I've seen with what he can do athletically with the arm strength. So I'm with you. Go in, take a shot at the guy that has that high ceiling.
Yeah. What did you make of Brian Costello's performance on our show today? What a guy.
That was incredible, and I'm not even kidding right now. Okay, Greg Jennings and Donald Driver are trending on Twitter right now, and I think you can guess why that's happening. I saw you tweeted James Jones.
I did. I did. I sent a tweet and said, "Don't even think about it," because we love James Jones here at FanDuel, and I'm sure James Jones will hop on to sort of talk about all of this. But he wants his guys over there. I don't even know if he wants them out there because they give them the best chance to win. He just wants to, chaos is a ladder, and he just wants to go out there and have people love him and show that he's on the throne, the Iron Throne. Will this, in your opinion, this is a train wreck on the way if they don't perform well, like an absolute train wreck of a proportion that we've not seen with the Bright Lights of New York?
I don't know. I think it is going to work out. I think with what they have on this roster around him, if they do get an Allen Lazard alongside of Garrett Wilson, that's a good, solid receiving core. I think Garrett Wilson is going to be an absolute star with Aaron Rodgers throwing the football. Remember, Breece Hall's coming back. I know Costello mentioned some of the offensive line issues. I think if they just get a little bit healthier there, that should help. So, and then you have a top 5 defense at your back. So I see this going well for the Jets. I know that's not something that we feel comfortable saying very often, but I really do think that this will go well for the Jets if Aaron Rodgers does end up there.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, it is such a catastrophe. I'm just laughing the whole show. I'm laughing because I can't believe that this is happening. Like, who's going to blink? The fact that it's not done at this point is a little terrifying, so I don't love that. I will ask you, though, when it does happen, before he actually moves to New York, can we have a draft on the show of who he dates over the next season?
I think we have to make it happen.
Yeah. I will go look at my Instagram models, and I will get a mock draft order.